Mic check. 1, 2, check. 1, 2, check. Check. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2, check. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. Check.
We're coming up on it. I'm gonna have
That's
to.
his stuff there where he's going to talk. Talk like that right there. He's got it. Yeah, you can.
Here's the video, Rich. Here's the video right there. See Ted Buck.
Okay,
Wait,
so
it's ready to go.
Teddy, you got to be able to talk. Okay, we're having a little problem here.
Oh, no worries. It's no worries. It's just you and just conversation. In fact, tonight's a very light night, so
Yeah, it's very light night. Look at this. This is easy. Okay.
I may ask everybody to kind of scooch in a little bit. So, let's see if I've got.
You want to put that on him?
Well, let's see. Yeah, you have to wear it for a little bit. I'll let Stephen talk it first. So.
Kurt, all I got to do is double click on that.
And
Right?
if you want, I can be here. I'll fire it because I'm not going to be running the webcam.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Well, if I get somebody to run the camera.
Come on up here.
Let me see if I can if you're going to be up here with Ted, then I got to see if I get somebody to run the camera.
I'm happy to. Well, Ted wants me. You want me up here, pal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got to see if I can get somebody to run the camera.
It's just like on TV. Look how good you did on TV.
Yeah, the
Way
TV's
more
worse.
people
Oh my
watch
God, my God.
Way more.
Yeah, that's a lot more intimidating than this. Who can I get to run the camera? And the Larkins totally bailed out of me. Oh, they're gone.
They're gone.
Well, so,
The guys used to be.
I'm gonna ask everybody to scooch into the middle if they wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Let's see.
2, 3, there we go, we're on.
Hey, Ted.
We'll get started here in just a few minutes, just a couple minutes, but if anyone wouldn't mind, I would ask that maybe if you could we scoot to the middle maybe instead of spread out so much? And if you wouldn't mind maybe taking a seat in the middle aisle here since we're so small. We're going to be doing a webcam chat. We'd kind of like it to look like there's a few people here.
Because Stephen Key's going to be looking at him.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind just grabbing a seat here in the middle row, this middle section, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, my one.
Okay. So, all right, Dan, if you have him, that'd be great. But he wants me to be up here next to him.
I gotta find somebody to run the camera.
Okay.
it's the magic. Good.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, so we're about to get started here, so if you can hang loose with me for 1 second, I'll get things rolling, introduce you, and get this party on the road, man.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you bet. Okay.
As you can see, we're about ready to get started, right? Was that with the obvious? Yeah, if everybody go ahead and take a seat, we'll get underway here. Stephen, how's the view? Is that looking pretty good? Can you see everybody? See everybody here? There we go. Okay, well, hey, welcome to the last ICKC meeting of 2014. We apologize for all of the delays. We had a little thing that we had to deal with called the Royals and a World Series. So, yeah, woohoo! Let's go Royals! Okay. So, nonetheless, we thought that we might have to put this off and deal with that first, and so we delayed it here till November 4th, and I hope it didn't cause any of you a lot of problems, but we definitely appreciate you coming out tonight on not our usual night, but a good meeting night, and this, as I said, will be our last meeting for 2014, and very glad that you could make it. So with all of that, we've got a pretty good slate lined up. We've got a couple of fantastic speakers, and then we're going to make a few announcements. To get things rolling, the guy here on the screen, if you are not familiar with Stephen Key, you should be. How many of you know of Stephen Key? Look at the hands. Can you see these hands, Stephen? Can you see these? This is great. And so Stephen Key, he is an inventor. He is an entrepreneur. He is an author. Has anyone read One Simple Idea? Hey, there we go. That's what we like to see. How about his sequel, One Simple Idea for Startups and Entrepreneurs? Nice. He has a second book, and which he will highlight here in a second, he is getting ready to put out a third book, right? And so maybe tell you a little bit about that. But Stephen has done it all. He is a very big star in this space. We have been very appreciative of past visits here to the ICKC. He's come here and talked with us here in person, and we've been very fortunate to have him agree to come and be part of our Make 48 event in April. He will be one of our keynote speakers in April. So yeah, so we thought tonight would be a great opportunity to kind of preview Stephen and what he'll be doing in April and some of the things he'll be talking about then. And we thought to make it easy for him, let him sit in his comfortable chair back there in Nevada, at his home in Nevada, which looks very comfortable with the fireplace in the background, and not have to come here. We thought we'd just bring him up on Skype. So, with all of that, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome on the big screen, Stephen Key.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. It's way over the top. I've only done a couple things, Kurt, so thank you anyway.
No, you're welcome. You deserve it.
So, Kurt, just real quick, I'm having a hard time hearing you, and I don't know if it's just the audio, but can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you good, Stephen.
Oh, that's much better. Thank you. So how would you like for me to begin tonight, Kurt? Because I have some ideas.
Sure. Well, I certainly don't want to take you away from your own game plan here, but maybe for some of those folks who have not had a chance to check you out and read your books and aren't real familiar with Stephen Key, maybe you'd just give a very brief little synopsis of what you've been up to in the invention world.
Okay. I've been very fortunate throughout my whole career to come up with ideas and show them to companies, and if they like those ideas, they would license those ideas from me. And I didn't realize this was very hard to do. I thought it was really simple to do. And tonight I want to talk about some of the difficulties of just bringing ideas to market. But my background is licensing. I have started a few companies, some startup success with that as well. I produced products that sold at Walmart, 7-Eleven. I've licensed ideas to very large companies with technology that still produces a nice income for me today. I hold over 20 patents, although I don't believe in patents. Companies like patents, but I don't think you ever own anything. So I play the whole field. I have been in federal court too, and I wanted to mention that because I don't think a lot of inventors get the pleasure of actually going to federal court to defend your patents. I had a small company, a small toy company called Legos a couple years ago that I took to court, and it took 3 years, but we finally settled before it went to trial. So I live out here in Lake Tahoe, and I come up with ideas. I'm still in licensing, and I'm still having a blast doing this. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about licensing, but if you've already read my book, which I thank you very much for that, it has my complete 10 steps, which I do teach a class, a year-long class, but it has everything in the book. So read the book. It's easy. It has 10 steps. Follow it. It works. But tonight I want to do something a little bit different because I know everybody that's sitting in the audience, there's something that's holding you back. Okay? And I want to talk about that because I think that's a great way of maybe overcoming some of the fears that you have or what's really holding you back. So I want to talk about a couple things, and maybe we can all walk away with a few tips and strategies. But I can tell you this, licensing ideas, you can do it. All right? Companies need your ideas. Because of open innovation, there's companies around the world for the first time are asking you for ideas. You just have to feed the monster. You have to give them ideas. It's as simple as that. And we need to stop overthinking it, right? Because there's a lot of us out there that we build prototypes for a couple of years and we file patents and then we actually show it to a company. Well, don't do that. I'm going to show you a faster way of doing it. Because I believe you're always selling or licensing benefits, not your prototype and definitely not your patents. But for some reason, we all get stuck. So the first thing I want to talk about is, do you really need a patent? How many people believe you need a patent to license an idea to bring it to market? Raise your hand. Most people believe it. You don't believe it? Fantastic. Because most ideas that are on the market don't have patents. But for some reason, we think we need to obtain one. Are there any patent attorneys in the room? Let's get this out real quick. Raise your hand. I know you're in there somewhere. Okay, good. I'll let you guys.
No, we don't.
But you know what's interesting? I sold my company because of my patent portfolio. So why do I say that you don't need patents? Because I think it's speed to market today. I think so many companies would like to have protection, but I don't think you ever own anything. I think there's always way to redesign around ideas and inventions. And today, because of the appetite of companies that need ideas and consumers, we want new. And that great appetite is so large that we just have to feed them with ideas. Ideas go in and out of the marketplace so fast today that if you waited for a patent to issue, you might miss the market. So it's really speed to market now. Now, even though the USPTO does a great job of issuing patents faster, but still, it takes time, and nowhere else it's very expensive. I do believe in filing provisional patent applications. Has everybody filed a provisional patent application before? Raise your hand. Fantastic. Learn how to have perceived ownership. Writing a PPA is not the easiest thing to do, but it's not that difficult either. And if you have an attorney in the room, make sure he teaches you how to write one, okay? You guys, get as much as you can from that guy that's in the room there. Provisional patent applications are a wonderful tool. I file them all the time because it gives you 1 year to put patent pending on your product, 1 year to shop it around, 1 year to see if anybody's interested in your idea. And if they are interested in it, there's a strategy to get them to pay for it now. Yeah. Because most likely they're going to ask for an exclusive. and for that exclusivity, have them pay for your intellectual property. You still own it, your patent attorney files it, but they pay for it. So that provisional patent application, that PPA, is a wonderful tool, but guess what? You have to do it correct. That means that you have to write it in such a way that you overcome any prior art, or not overcome, but understand other things that have been done before you. So you have to look at prior art. You have to do a Google product search, see if there's any other ideas that are out there. And you need to write it in such a way that your words are very expansive. And it stops workarounds, because I don't think companies steal ideas. I think they work around ideas. So this fear of, do you need a patent? I don't think so. I do think you need a provisional patent application. It gives you perceived ownership, and that's just enough for potential licensees to go, all right, let's play the game. So that fear of, I don't have a patent, throw it out the door. Because I'm going to give you a strategy now that works, and it's been working for me, and it's been working for a lot of my students. If you file a provisional patent application, you have 1 year. That means you have to get to work very fast, right? And the way I license ideas are with a sell sheet, a one-page, why do you care? And sometimes I don't even build a prototype. And sometimes I don't even know if my product can be made. Wow. Now that sounds pretty risky, doesn't it? But know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to see if there's interest first. Because I can build a prototype. I can find someone to build a prototype. But if there's no one interested in the benefits of my idea, why bother? So I put together a one-page, why do you care? On that one-page sell sheet, my prototype could be 3D computer generated, right? There's some people on Elance that can create the most amazing 3D images that they look like you can reach out and touch them. They're that fantastic. And some of those people on Elance will do it for under $100. Now that sell sheet needs to have a one-line benefit statement, right? To truly condense your idea into one powerful sentence, then have a picture. Now the other thing that's been working, and working extremely well, is a YouTube video. Show a problem, show a solution, do it for 1 minute. Don't do it longer, don't have music, doesn't have to be this high quality production. Get your iPhone out and make it so it's really tells the story of just of the problem, my solution. That powerful tool is very important. Now, what prototype can you use? Because I told you not to build a prototype. Cannibalize something. Take an existing product. It's just a works like. It's just a concept. It doesn't matter. And guess what? When you film it from a distance, you can't tell if it's real or not. You want to know if there's interest. Now, what I like about this method that I've been using for my whole career for over 30 years, I've been teaching for over 12, is that I can come up with an idea in the morning, I can file a provisional patent application by noon, and I can call a company by 2 o'clock. And I can tell if someone wants it. Do you want it? Is it a good idea? Am I crazy? Because sometimes we don't know if we have a good idea or not, do we? And I know we're all asking ourselves so many times, does my idea really have what it takes? Is it a good idea? And I'm here to tell you, none of us know. I don't know. You don't know. No one has the crystal ball. The only opinion that matters is the company you're going to license it to. So I don't ask friends. I don't share my ideas with anybody. I put together this sell sheet, show it to someone and say, hey, am I out of my mind, or can your company make money from this? It's as simple as that. So the fear of not having a prototype, throw it out the door. The fear if it's going to work or not, throw it out the door. The fear if I have a patent, forget about it. You don't need it. What you need is an idea that a company can take They can put it on the shelf very, very quickly, and it can drive revenue. That's what's important here. My attorneys told me early on that, Steve, we can protect it, but you have to sell it. That's the hard part, because sometimes we've got it reversed a little bit. Now, let's talk about the fear of reaching out to companies, because I know that sometimes we feel like, well, maybe I'm not qualified. Now, I'm here to tell you, everybody in this room is an expert. And I'll tell you the reason why. We're all consumers. You know what you like and you don't like. You're an expert. If you don't know it, you are. And those companies need people like ourselves to come up with these ideas. And these ideas that I've discovered, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Don't come up with an idea that requires education. Don't come up with an idea that you've got to build a new machine. Don't come up with an idea that that's got to take tens of thousands of dollars. No, come up with a simple idea that's a small improvement on an existing idea. You know why? Because you've taken away risk. Number one, the risk that there is a market for it, the risk that it can't be manufactured. But getting into these companies is so easy today. How many people are on LinkedIn tonight? Raise your hands. Are you guys on LinkedIn? Fantastic. You know what's happening that didn't happen when I first started? I used to have to call a company and go, hey, I'm Stephen Key, I'm a product developer, and I've got this great idea. Do you guys take outside submissions? And they would say, the operator never knew what I was talking about. So then I would have to ask for someone in the marketing department, and I'd go around over here, and I finally might get to the right person eventually. But because of LinkedIn, you can get the directory of the people that work within these companies now. So you've got a name. And you can reach out to those people on LinkedIn, but please don't pitch your ideas. That's a big no-no on social media. Don't pitch them an idea when you don't even know them yet. You have to date them first a little bit, right? Right? So what you do is that you introduce yourself, you tell them you're a product developer. Never say you're an inventor. Only when you're on Shark Tank do you tell them you're an inventor. You're a product developer, and I'll tell you the reason why. They understand it. They have people that are product developers, and they understand it. So when you reach out, say, hey, I'm a product developer, and I would like to start submitting ideas to your company. Do they embrace open innovation? Do they take outside submissions? What is your process? Who do I need to speak with? Be a professional. And what they'll do is that they'll find that right name for you. And they will make a connection, and you'll do it correctly, because we need to act like a professional here. And if you do, they'll let us in their doors, they will count on us more and more, they'll reach out to us, and they'll start asking us what they're looking for. So getting into companies is so easy today. It's so easy, and if you're going to license an idea, and that's my specialty, make sure you make a list of potential licensees, and make sure there's over 40. Make your list of over 40 and reach out to every single one of them. And when you do, make sure they respond back. And make it easy for them to say no. Ooh, that's terrible, right? We all don't want no's. We all don't want rejection. But sometimes when you send an idea to a company and they haven't called you back, how many times has that happened to anybody in the room? You call someone, and no one calls you back. It's like a black hole. It's like, what's going on here? Make it easy for them to respond, and do it this way. Say, look, if you're not interested in my idea, just say not interested. You know what that does? It gives them an easy way out. But you know what else it does? It gives you a paper trail, right? In case you see your product out there later. It gives you a little paper trail that they saw it. So do that. It's really simple to do. There's a couple other fears I want to talk about. Fear of rejection. I could wallpaper my house with rejections. I hate to say that. Oh, jeez. But that's okay. Because you know what I've learned through the rejection process? I've gotten better. You know what else I've learned? All those companies that rejected me, they eventually started working with me. Because if they told me no, I asked them why. And sometimes they'd give me feedback so I could resubmit. Or when I submit to another company, I have feedback now. But you know what else has happened? It's never rejection. You know what it does? It starts a relationship. Because to be really successful at this innovation game, it's all relationship based. You're building solid relationships within these industries because you're going to call them back in another month with another idea and another idea and another idea. And before you know it, they're going to start telling you what they're looking for. You never lose. You're never rejected. You're just not finding a home for your idea for that particular product today. So don't let the fear of rejection mean anything, because it really truly doesn't. Rejection are the stepping stones of success. Embrace them, right? And it doesn't feel good to have those rejections. I hate them. But I've learned that I like to get them, because if I go through 10 rejections, I'm going to get a yes sooner or later. I will get a yes. But I've got to get a lot of no's. Some other fears that we have. Maybe fears that someone's going to steal my idea. How many people have that fear? Yeah, I love that one. That's a great one. It doesn't exist. It only exists in here. And I'll explain why. Now, and people think I'm crazy because you hear a story. Every once in a while you hear a story of someone stealing an idea, right? Have you all heard those stories? Yeah, of course. But let me tell you what actually happens and why companies don't steal ideas, especially today. Today we have these tools such as a provisional patent application. It's a very powerful tool, you guys. And it's a tool of perceived ownership, and it's the first thing you can do. Can you imagine if you're in a company, and I've been in these companies before. I worked for a toy company in the late 80s called Worlds of Wonder. And Worlds of Wonder, we launched Teddy Ruxpin and Laser Tag, and I was part of that team. And I saw new ideas coming all the time. And when they came in, can you imagine if someone said, hey, I love this idea. Hey, why don't we steal it from this guy? Can you imagine what everybody else would look at each other going, I don't want to work for a company that does that. It's bad morale, number one. And number two, because of filing provisional patent applications, there could be a potential lawsuit later if it issues and this thing goes big. And I can tell you, because I sued Legos. I know it firsthand. That definitely is a threat. And if it's a really big idea and it does really well, you'll have more attorneys wrapping around the business to help get the money they owe you. So, and the other thing today, because of social media, it used to be if someone did me wrong, I could tell my neighbor or maybe my inventors group. But today, you can go on the internet and I can tell the world. Social media is our friend. You know what it does? It makes companies do the right thing. That's what it does. So having protection, right? Finding companies and realizing they want to do the right thing. Now, guess what they might do? And this is where the confusion starts. They might try to work around your idea. You know why? Because us inventors aren't acting professionally enough. Maybe we're asking for too much money. Maybe we don't understand minimum guarantees or royalty rates. Maybe we're just being inventors. So maybe there's a reason to work around it. That's a nice way of stealing it, right? Workarounds. I love that word. They're working around it. So you know what you need to do? When you create your idea, and the day you do build that prototype, because someday when a company does want it, you're going to need to build a prototype, right? And you're going to discover all the different ways it could be made, all the different materials, all the different variations, and you're going to include that in a new PPA, right? You're going to stop workarounds by expanding your PPA with variations and using words that are expansive and narrow words too. And I've learned this the hard way. If you write these PPAs in such a way that eventually when it goes to a non-provisional patent application, and when you get that office action, they can always go back to that PPA and bring some stuff out, but you can't add to it later. So do a good job, but only do it when you got interest from a company first. Then really dive in. You need to be the expert, not your attorney, nobody else but you and me. We need to be the expert. We need to know more about it than anybody else on the planet once there's interest, right? And when you discover that prior art, how many people have an idea and they realize there's a patent on something similar to it later? How many people have done that before? Any hands? Boy, is that a heartbreak or what? You come up with this idea, you think it's fantastic, and I'm going to tell you a quick story, and Kurt, cut me off anytime you want to.
Sure, yeah, there's some questions here in a second.
I was at Procter & Gamble. I thought I invented this rotating label, and sure enough, I wrote about this in the book, and I thought I was an inventor. I filed 2 patents, and guess what? They told me my idea has been invented before, and guess what? They were right. Someone else did it. They were absolutely 100% right. I was not the inventor. Broke my heart. Everybody told me to go home, stop, forget about it. Well, I didn't. I looked at it closely, and I realized in that old patent, there was no method of manufacturing. But I knew people wanted it because it delivered more information. I knew the market wanted it. So today I have over 20 patents on that technology. And I've made millions of dollars with that technology today on an idea that wasn't even mine because I knew manufacturing. I'm not afraid of prior art. I'm not afraid of ideas because guess what? You'll never find an idea today, I believe, that's so unique that someone hasn't thought of some variation before it in the past. Use that information. Find the holes. Find what they're missing. And then file that PPA with the things that they haven't done correct. That's how you win at this game of perceived ownership because I think you never own anything. Kurt, how about a couple questions?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to step in front. Hey, good stuff, man. That's great. Yeah, let's do some questions. I'm going to have Sean walk around with the microphone, and hopefully you can hear the question. If you can, I'll repeat it.
Okay.
Maybe you can hear it a little better. So, yeah,
All right, who has questions?
any questions?
Okay, here it is.
You might want to stoke that fire a little bit, Stephen. Looks like it's kind of a little weak there.
Steve, just a
It's
question.
not that cold yet, but I thought I gave a nice little touch.
I love it. It's great audio.
And I have a product placement here too. Here's my product placement. Hey, I've got all the tricks.
Well, I got a question for you. How non-abstract do you have to be with your idea? In other words, if you're going to talk to somebody about an idea, you've got to play a card or two. How many cards do you play? Just until you get some interest with that? That's my dilemma at this point is I want to keep selling the idea and I don't want to oversell it to somebody. So is there a point in time where you recognize there's some solid interest, and what do you do after that?
Kurt, could you repeat part of that for me? Because it didn't come through too clear.
Tell Stephen right there in the camera.
Stephen, what he's asking is when you're shopping these ideas to potential investors, how specific are you playing it out to them to generate that genuine interest, yes or no? And what he's saying is, are you playing too many cards, and how do you know if you've gone too far? Obviously, you want to be genuine and detailed to actually get a legitimate response, but where's the happy medium in there?
Okay, that's actually a great question because we didn't talk about non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. I think you can tell someone pretty much what the benefit of your ideas, but if you've got any trade secrets, if you've got any things that you want to protect, don't tell them that. Hold that back. Sell the benefit of your idea, right? You know, you need to grab an audience within seconds. If you've got an idea, if you're talking to investors, or if you're on Shark Tank, or if you're on Kickstarter, I don't care what you're doing, you've got to grab your audience within 5 seconds, or you're going to lose them. So grab them first. And if people want more information, especially investors or potential licensees, and if it's information you don't want to share, that's the time to ask them, will you sign my NDA? Right, you guys? And make it very official. There you go.
So sell the result, not the process.
You got it.
All right.
Yes, love it. Thank you.
All right, here we go.
Another one here, Stephen.
You made the statement that we're not professionals. I'm certainly not. But I think I have a pretty good idea, but I don't want to be ridiculous on either side of positive or negative. I don't want to want too much money for it. I don't want to want, I mean, you know what I'm saying? How do I know what it's worth?
Okay, so there's two parts to that question, right? I mean, number one, I've seen a lot of ideas. I've seen some really wonderful ideas that never go anywhere. And I've seen that some of the crazy ideas make a lot of money. So I don't have the crystal ball. I don't think anybody does. But how do you know how much money to ask for an idea? If that's what you're asking? Okay. I can tell you this, and I'm really directing this towards licensing your idea. And I love licensing, you guys. And the reason why, because the company does all the heavy lifting. It's speed to market. They can get on the shelf space so fast that, and you can start making money right away. I love licensing. And today, how many people want to start a company? In fact, if you do start a company, and if you come up with a great product, I can guarantee someone's going to knock you off before you're too successful. Okay, so I just said it. But how do you know if you're going to license an idea, how much money to ask? Well, I can guarantee this. Royalty rates are really quite simple. It all depends on the volume. And how do you determine how much money? I always do this. I always do the math. I figured how much products can a company sell, how many stores do they currently sell in. I figure out that they're going to at least sell one a week. If they don't sell one a week, they usually kick your idea to the curb. And if I have the wholesale price, I know my royalty is going to come off the wholesale price. So knowing that, I can pretty much figure out what a 5%, 3%, 7% royalty would be, my income. High, medium, and low. Always. Always know your math, guys. So I could ask for 7%, and most likely you'll sell at 5. 5 is a number that most companies agree upon. 5%. 10%, 12%, more than that, you're like Disney, you're asking that much, right? I was a Disney licensee when I did these small guitar picks, and my royalty was 10%. That was really high. So I would never go, if it's below 5%, if it's large volumes, maybe 3%. But do the math. And then how much money you're going to make depends on your greed too, right? How much money do you want to make? Most of the time you're going to give a company an exclusive. So just realize that your income is going to stop with that company. So do the math and find out how much money is enough for you to give them an exclusive. One thing I want to mention real quick, you guys, I didn't complete it, about the perceived ownership. When you contact a potential licensee and they say, well, you probably won't get a patent on that. And you come back and say, well, I think I'm going to get a patent on that. So what choice do they have to go forward now? They could say, well, we're not going to do it. That doesn't help anybody. Or they could say, well, maybe we should take it from Steve. Well, that doesn't make sense either. But here's the deal that everybody's cutting, and I have a new book coming out on this particular strategy. Tell your potential licensee, pay me, let's say, for an example, 3% when it's patent pending. Pay me 5% when it issues. And pay me 1% if it doesn't issue. Now what that does is satisfies everybody's concern. Now, I know for a fact that I can play the patent game and probably extend this intellectual property for at least 3 or 4 years. I can make a good income from it, right? And that's about how long products go in and out of the market these days. Some last longer. I've had some go 10, some go 15 years. So that strategy can be applied to a lot of situations, especially the ideas that you will never have any intellectual property whatsoever. So.
Excellent. Another question, anywhere?
We have time for one more, maybe. One more? Anybody? One more question before we wrap up? We have one right over here. This gentleman here, right back there.
All right.
We're going to do one more, Stephen. One more before we wrap
I
up.
have one on the way around. Okay. If you're going to do an exclusive with someone, you set minimums for product manufacture and distribution, because one of the concerns I would have is them buying it just to shelve it and not bring it to market to compete with something they're already doing. So do you have minimum productions if you're going to offer an exclusive?
That's the number one most important part of a licensing agreement, is having some type of performance clause. And I would even have a performance clause in an exclusive, and even in a non-exclusive, I'd have some type of performance. And usually that performance clause is driven by units. It's really dollars, to tell you the truth. I don't care how anybody does it. If they don't sell X amount, you get it back. It's common sense. And companies hate it. They hate that they have to put some type of performance on their performance. They hate it. But the bottom line is this: try to figure out what the sales are going to be. My strategy has always done 25% of what the potential sales, and I make that my performance. And I make the first year very, very low, the second year a little higher, and the third year I hit them right between the eyes, because I want them to be in full production mode. But if they don't hit the numbers, it comes back. What happens, you guys, and I'll tell you what really happens, they breach their contract because they haven't hit the minimums. I love when they breach, because it comes back and we can renegotiate again. I love renegotiating. I love contracts. They're living documents. Now, you want a company to do well, but I'll tell you, those performance clauses really put a gun to their head for them to perform. You have to have them in there if you're going to give someone a licensing agreement. That's my opinion.
Excellent. Last one.
Well, he took about 80% of my question, but I'll just I'll put the finishing touch on it, and I think you may have covered it. My concern was, how much time do you give them? You had 3 years. Is that fairly standard on an idea?
No, some of them, they're all different. You guys, there's no such thing as a standard licensing agreement, right? So I've seen some licensing agreements that it goes to the life of the patents. Some might go 5 years, that if they hit their minimum guarantee, it continues. Recently, I write for Inc.com, and also I write for Entrepreneur.com, and I have an article coming out on an individual. One of my students came up with the idea, showed it to every major company, and they all said no, because he went too high. He reached too high. We all do that. We reach too high. He found a smaller company, and they took it, and it did extremely well. It was the #1 accessory at Apple, in the Apple Store. It has over 200 SKUs. It's called Grid It. And guess what? His licensing agreement stopped at 5 years. Now, that's incredible that this company didn't have some type of renewal. So after 5 years, they yanked it from their licensee and said, we're going to show it to somebody else, because now the big guys wanted it, because he had proof of concept. And the company that had licensed it ended up paying them for the whole thing. They bought him out. And that was a great exit strategy for any inventor when you get bought out. So it's a good time. So getting to your question, it all depends. Yes.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Getting bought out, that's a good thing, yeah, right? You know a little something about that, right, Stephen? You know,
What's that?
You know a little something about the buyout, right? You know that? You know
I love this business, you guys. I love it so much, and I especially love the negotiation part of it. A lot of people don't like it. To me, you negotiate so everybody wins. Everybody's happy at the end of the day. And the person that has the most knowledge usually gets a better deal. Okay, so whoever you work with, find that licensing attorney that really understands licensing, that helps you for the first time, or find that coach, but find someone that has a lot of gray hair, right? And that's done it a lot, and it'll help you tremendously. So
that's great stuff. Stephen, I can't thank you enough for being with us tonight, and more so, very excited that you'll be with us in April, right, for Make 48.
I'm going to say this, you guys. There was a time where I traveled to all the inventors groups across the country, and I can tell you one thing. You have one of the best groups in the country. I'm going to say it right here. It's on record. And thank you for inviting me out. You've got a smart group of people, great content, great speakers, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there at Make 48, because it's going to be for 3 days. I'm going to hang around. I want to get to know everybody. So if you want to be involved in this community, get involved, and I'll see you at this big event in April 17th.
That's awesome. You'll all be there, right? Everybody? Yes, yes, you're going to be there. You might want to bring a pen. There might be a few autographs needed, a few autograph sessions, so bring a good working pen. If not, we'll provide one. It's okay.
That microphone is really hard for me to
sorry.
hear. I'm sorry. Something about,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Am I in a cell phone commercial? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
That's great. Well, Stephen, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you being with us tonight. And certainly, before we leave, they can still get in touch with you, everyone here, through inventright.com, correct?
Yeah, you guys, my team has done a good job on the internet. You can always find me. Please read my articles on Inc.com. I'm writing a column called Licensing Lifestyle. I'm going to give everything I know about licensing in that column. I'm going to give it all away. Number 2, Entrepreneur. I've been writing for them for over 18 months. If you're interested in just business, please read that too. But I also have a website called Inventright where we have YouTube videos. And of course, my books. I give it all away, you guys. I love this industry. I love you guys. Read it, get smart, dive in there, call those companies, and get off the couch and stop building all those prototypes. There you go.
Stephen, thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Another round of applause for Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Well, was that good stuff or what? That was great. I love it. I love it. That was really great. Okay, I think I'm better on this one.
Is it, anybody else is okay with my microphone, right? I don't know what's going on there. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm sorry we took a little extra time on that one, but I thought it was well worth it. And he will be at Make 48 in April, and more good stuff where that came from, so you're all going to want to be there. I'm going to turn it over to our CEO, Sean Murphy here, who's going to introduce our second hot shot. Equally as dynamic. You're going to love this one. Sean, it's all yours.
Thank you. Hey, I thought that was probably one of the most powerful speakers we've ever had, ever. To have him sit there, it's one thing to read his books, another thing to read his bios, another thing to read about him online, but to see him live with that technology, knowing that he's coming and no longer travels, but because of what we put together and what we're building collectively as a group of the people in this room with Inventor Center of Kansas City, guys, that's incredible, because I'm getting off the couch and I'm coming to see you guys. I want to be a part of that. It's the best inventors group in the nation. I thought that was just incredible.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. Yeah, Stephen told me when I invited him, he said that he was thrilled because he, since he sold one of his invention companies, he basically had stopped touring. And he said, but that's my first love, is going and talking to groups. And he said, this is going to be the first big thing that I have done, speaking-wise, in a year and a half. And he goes, I couldn't be more thrilled to do it in Kansas City and come here for Make 48. So it's going to be great stuff. And this is a guy who's talked to almost every inventors group in the country. He's been on TV. He just a while back, he spoke at Google for all of their people there at Google. They invited him, and that YouTube video's up if you want to watch that. Good stuff to have him here in KC, so thrilled about him.
That's right. Well, give yourselves a hand, because we made that happen. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Make 48 event at the end of the meeting tonight, because it's the last meeting for the year. But that's going to be a small, intimate group that people from all over the nation want to come here to hear him and several other authors that we've lined up, and patent attorneys and things like that, and prototypers, but people that can help you with marketing and branding and licensing deals are going to be all in one room at one time. I'll step out a little bit. I expect to learn more about licensing and branding and marketing and becoming successful on Friday, April 17th than I did with a finance degree from the University of Texas. I would fully expect it, because it's taught by people that have done it rather than professors and theory, okay? So I'm super, super excited about that. We're going to talk about how to be a part of that and make sure you get in line to be a part of it, because a lot of people are going to want to be a part of it way too long and they're going to be left out. Our next inventor, I love this category, which are product developers. And that was awesome. I said, gosh, it's one of those beautiful words, product developer. Not an inventor, but this is a very young, entrepreneurially minded product developer, Ted Brull. He's been in business for 3 years. Now keep in mind, he's 13, okay? He builds TED clocks from tedclocks.com, okay? His distribution and market right now, trade shows, online, and word of mouth. So he has a brief presentation for us here today, talking about his inspiration and his designs, a little bit about maybe marketing and distribution, and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. But anyway, we love having these young up-and-coming creative minds here come and speak for ICKC, so give him a hand, Ted Brull.
Ted Brull. And he brought his partner in crime here, his dad, Rich Brull, is with him. So tell you what, I'm going to fire a video for you. Ted, do you want to start off with the video, or do you want to talk first?
Yeah, we can start with the video.
Okay, we're going to start with the video. Yeah. You want to introduce, okay?
I'm Ted. A few years ago, I started my company, Ted Clocks, at the 2012 Kansas City Maker Faire, and I was 11.
Yeah, I don't think his mic's on. Right? Mic's here, just use this. Can you use that? There you go. All right, beautiful.
Hi, I'm Ted. A few years ago, I started my company, Ted Clocks, at the 2012 Kansas City Maker Faire. So the video explains a lot about what Ted Clocks is all about.
Okay, let's fire that video, shall we?
Hi, I'm Ted, and I turned these old computer parts into these new clocks. Ted Clocks.
No, it's just on the phone. Yeah, it was. Hey, look at that! That looks like a video. How about that?
There are a lot of old computers in the world that people don't know what to do with, so they just throw them away, and they're cluttering up landfills and are affecting our environment in a negative way. So I decided to make clocks out of these computers and repurpose the technology and craftsmanship that went into making the computers. I start by collecting old computer parts from wherever I can find them. Then I prepare them for use. After that, I design the layout and decide where I will put each piece. I take the computer parts that I want to make a clock out of and drill holes for the clock motors. And then I assemble the clocks by putting a motor on, mounting it on a base or hook, and assembling the hands and clear coat for protection. I might add other features like 2 motors, more moving parts, or lights to make it more interesting. I started Ted Clocks in 2012 and debuted at Kansas City Maker Faire. I sold over 200 clocks in 2 days and even got a write-up on Geek.com. I enjoy making these clocks and taking apart computers, and it fascinates me to see what's inside. It's great to see people enjoying older technology and seeing what their computers are made of. Ted Clocks. Order yours online at tedclocks.com. Thanks for watching. Now I've got to go find some more old computers.
So after my first Maker Faire in 2012, I went on to San Francisco and did a Maker Faire out there for the next 2 years and came back to Kansas City again. And I did really well and sold several $1,000s worth of clocks in San Francisco. And here are some of my clocks. So this is a hard drive clock, and the base is laser cut and engraved, and I draw up the CAD files in Corel, and it's made out of bamboo. And I also do custom engraving work. And I also have network cards, and you can see that this is an old board because it has through-hole mounted circuits rather than surface mount, and through-hole looks a lot cooler. So while Ted Clocks is still going on, I'm getting ready to launch my new product on Kickstarter, which is a vacuum former. So the way vacuum forming works is you take a sheet of plastic and you heat it up and melt it. Then you use a vacuum to suck it over your part and create a mold. So it's going to be on Kickstarter in 2 models, the large one, which is automated for $500, and a smaller one, which is manual for $35. And to show you what you can make, I've made some chocolate molds, which you can come up and have some if you want. So feel free to come up and look at the clocks and the vacuum formers and have some chocolate.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well done. We have a few questions for you, all right?
If you could just pass that bowl over to me, that would be great. Yeah.
Well, that's about 3 pounds of chocolate. Oh, no. That's a lot of stuff in there. One of the questions I'll start out with, Ted, first of all, very, very impressive, excellent presentation. You did a great job. As far as going into the future, do you see yourself at some point just kind of being the master designer and then duplicating yourself and having other people help you with assembly?
Yeah, I thought about that before, hiring some of my friends or stuff to help with a lot of the manual stuff.
So that'd be good, because you get 10, 15, or 20 of you, and you're the mastermind, and then you can sell massive, massive volume. Now, right now, you're selling online as well, correct?
Yeah, tedclocks.com.
Tedclocks.com. Tedclocks, one word.
Yeah.
Tedclocks.com. So definitely go out there and check it out and look and see what he's doing for marketing and distribution. Obviously, he's had several $1,000s in sales, and here's what's amazing about that. That's literally several $1,000s more in sales than most people ever have. Because they go, I've got this great idea. Are you generating revenue? Hey, are we making money? Are we talking, like speed to market, like Steve McKee said? I think that was just absolutely fantastic. Ultimately, in the future, what do you see yourself doing once you, get out of high school, obviously going on to college, I would assume?
Yeah.
Engineering, MIT, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I want to go to MIT and be an aerospace engineer.
No, I seriously did not know that, but it was a good hunch. I go, that's MIT right there. Okay. Any questions for Ted? There we go. Hang on. Yeah, the people online can't hear. Sorry.
How did you get the vacuum form idea, and how does that relate to the clocks, if at all?
So I was working on another project, and I really needed a vacuum former, but I couldn't find one big enough that was on the market, so I decided to make my own.
Wow. It's like me not having a car. I'll just go out and build one real quick.
Really cool clocks. I'm going to buy one. Maybe I'm the only one in the room. What's a vacuum former?
So you use it to make molds and cases, and it's a thin sheet of polystyrene, and it goes in here, and at the top there's heaters, so it melts it, and then it sucks it down over your part to create the mold.
Another question right here, Ted?
So, Ted, what are you selling those clocks for?
The clocks,
That's a loaded question, because there's some, my guess is those are for sale up there on that table, am I
they
right?
are.
Okay. You might have, okay, go
They're
ahead.
$30 through $45 for these.
Excellent. Good question. Price point. Okay. Here we go. Another question in front left.
It's good to see you again, Ted. We got to see you at Maker Faire. One thing I wanted to hear you talk about, which we got to hear when we interviewed you for Make and at Union Station, was you've inspired some of your friends, right?
Yeah, my friend Ethan makes bracelets out of old leather belts. And he was at Maker Faire the year before this year, so.
Excellent. Another question. Okay, right up front. Here we go.
Just out of curiosity, did you file a PPA?
No, I haven't. Not yet. But it is patentable the way this is automated on the larger one. Oh, for the clocks, that's not patentable on the clocks.
Aside from chocolate, what else can the molds be used for?
So you can do rubber molds, and there are some types of plastic that you can mix up and pour in the molds, and also cases for things like computer monitors. The cases are vacuum formed.
Any other questions? So that was impressive. Fantastic job. Thanks, Ted.
And we'll make sure to let everybody know, and when this goes on Kickstarter, we'll let everybody know. We'll let you know when this goes on Kickstarter here, and we'll see if we can't generate a little support.
And the clocks are for sale at the end of the presentation this evening, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
As well as the chocolates, don't forget the chocolates. Yeah. Nope, is purchase required for a chocolate?
No, the chocolate's
Okay,
free.
well, those will go fast. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Ted. Wonderful. Before we get to our announcements, we have an event coming up, and a co-inventing workshop is getting ready to come about, and we have one of the people that is putting it on, and she would like to tell you a little bit about it. We would like her to tell you a little bit about it. Everybody, Pam Woods, to tell you about the co-inventing workshop.
Hi, thank you. Oh, before you run off, could you put my PowerPoint up?
Oh, yeah, sure. Where did you load it up?
I emailed it to you.
Oh, I don't know if that's right. Let me see if
Okay, while he's getting my PowerPoint up, I've got a flyer that gives a little bit more information about it. So if we could pass that around, just take one and pass it around. So a lot of you in here have actually been to our co-inventing workshops. Last year, we got together and we did some co-inventing. What co-inventing is all about is we take a large group of people. I say large, we're looking about 9 to 12 people, and we actually brainstorm and
Just keep going on.
we brainstorm and we create a product that we actually submit to companies. Well, I submit it to the companies. You guys just create the prototype, and then I would be the one to submit it to companies. For those of you who don't know, I'm the Vice President of Inventive Ideas. We're a licensing company. I'm a licensing agent. And Stephen Key is right. Companies are wanting products, and I need products. I've got so many companies coming to me wanting products, and then the products that I'm sending them don't quite meet the criteria that they're looking for. And so what I've done is I've cut down a lot of the process by finding out what companies want. So I know the criteria that these companies are looking for, and I'm trying to show inventors how to invent to the criteria. It gets you in the door a lot quicker and a lot farther. So now that the PowerPoint's up, so Co-Inventing Workshop is back, and we have a multi-million-dollar opportunity on the table. We've got a client that's willing to pay inventors millions of dollars with no problem. And it's driving me crazy because I really want to help somebody out, get that money, and it's all about meeting the criteria. So what the opportunity is will be no surprise to a lot of you. It's, will it launch with As Seen on TV? Now, historically, they haven't done a whole lot with toys, but there's been some changes in the industry, and they're hot and heavy and excited about toys. They want to see toys right now. So this is my Funfish. This is the first toy that Will It Launch As Seen on TV has put out. And I'm telling you guys, these inventors of this My Funfish are looking to make $10 million. It's $2 million a year for 5 years. And it's that type of royalty that the group is going for. How many of you guys would be happy with a product that was half that successful? Well, we're going to do everything we can to help you get there. During the co-inventing, how it works is we've got about 9 to 12 seats available. Our first class is full, so I have a sign-up sheet that if you guys are interested, I'm saying sign up on the waiting list, and if we get enough interest for November, we'll have a second class on the same day. Carrie will run one and I'll run the other one. So what we do is we review trends and products that were successful, then we brainstorm ideas to come up with a new product, then we pick the best ideas. You guys go home, you make the prototype in the 1.5 minute video, you bring it back in December, and then I will take it on, submit it to companies. If it doesn't make it on As Seen on TV, as a licensing agent, I'll be submitting it to other toy companies. And if any money's made, it's all divided amongst the group. And Inventive Idea, or Willett Lodge had seen on TV, they've got 4 wins now, and they're looking for 6 next year. Now, how you benefit is you get access to the insider licensing information. We know the criteria that the company's looking for, what they want, and we can help you tweak your product to make it past that hurdle. It's also going to help you when you're inventing your own stuff. It will help you think, all right, well, the company wants this, that, or the other, so I got to make sure the product fits, you know, with what their needs are, their wants. And there's always the possibility of, if we get it licensed, you know, it will be split among the people participating. So the homework would be, first, sign the waiting list if you are interested in coming. And if you can make it on Thursday, I know it's not much time, but due to the rescheduled meeting, it was very short notice. But if you are interested in coming on Thursday, we'll make you a spot, research toys from now to then, and then show up and be ready to participate. Any questions? That would be.
That's good, thank you.
About this.
What about the look? You want to remind them where to go for the?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be the first Thursday of November and December from 6:30 to 9. It's going to be at the Inventor Incubator at 2401 Summit. Tickets are $20 that you can pay at the door. We just kind of need a heads up if you're going to be there to make sure we have enough seats. So. No, there's no age limit. We want young and old because everybody's played with toys at one time or another. And if you haven't played with toys, you bought toys for your kids or grandkids, and you'd be surprised that you know more about toys than what you realize. Yes? Do you have a list of companies that are going to send this product to, and what is the number? How many companies am I going to send it to? Well, it all kind of depends on the product. You know, we're going to create something, and then we're going to create it to As Seen on TV's criteria, and then if it doesn't make it, I'll see, all right, does it meet this company's criteria, then I can send it to them, and I can send it to them. But I do have a list of toy manufacturers that I'm creating just for this. No. No, that's, sorry, confidential.
All right, thank you so much for being available.
Round of applause for Pam, and she'll be here for a while, right? So if you have any questions about the workshop, by all means, come and see Pam about it. Thank you, Pam. Appreciate it.
Well, let me clean something up really quick, which was brought to my attention, okay? 501c3, we cannot solicit. So when I said those clocks were for sale, just kidding. Okay. Now, if you perchance wanted to have a private conversation with a young product developer, that's your business. But they're for sure not for sale tonight. Am I clear? Gotcha. Okay. I'm like, Mary's like, you can't say that. I'm like, I already did. I don't know. Okay. That won't be the last mistake I make tonight, but at least I got that one fixed. All right.
Yeah, so as we, a couple of things before we close out the evening. That will conclude our speakers for the evening. But we wanted to touch on a couple of things before we close up shop. One was Make 48. Obviously, that's a big deal for us. We've worked really hard on that this year, all of us on the board. And unfortunately, we need a little more time because guys like Steven and a few others that we're reaching out to need a little more time to make plans. We wanted them to be a part of it. So we decided to push back the event from November to April, and I think it will be much better all the way around. So we are in the process now of putting together a great speaker lineup. Sean was going to touch on a few of the people that we have so far, so you know who will be coming that Friday. How many people know about Make 48, have checked out the website, but you kind of know what's going on there, right? Is there anybody out there who has no clue what I'm talking about? Okay, a couple people. Yeah. And so for those who don't know, Make 48 weekend, that is a event that we're putting on. It is April 17th, 18th, and 19th, next April, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're putting a spin on an invention contest, and it is a 48-hour invent-a-thon in that we are asking teams to compete and in 48 hours conceive and develop and then pitch a commercial product idea. And they'll be utilizing a couple of the fab labs here in town, so they will have tools and help at their disposal. And over the course of a Saturday and Sunday, they will be given a challenge. A general idea or a category for an idea. It could be an outdoor product or a kitchen product. And based on that challenge, they will come up with an idea. They will try and come up with a rough prototype and a short video. And then on Sunday, when the 48 hours concludes, they will pitch their idea to a panel of judges, and awards will be given out. So I think, and hopefully, maybe a licensing opportunity or two, but I think it will be a great exercise, a lot of fun. We're very anxious to see what boils out of this, and to our knowledge, this will be the first time it's ever been done. So it'll be a very cool thing for Kansas City. But we're kicking it all off on Friday. Friday is going to be our creative kickoff, where we're just going to have a lineup of fantastic speakers all day Friday. You can come and listen to them, and then we'll have some networking after that is all over with that evening. So it's a great time to just come and learn. And all of this will take place at Union Station. The Friday will be at the Kansas City Chamber Room at Union Station, the boardroom there. We'll have a lineup of speakers throughout the day, and then that evening some networking there at Union Station, and then the event will take place there as well. So that's go to make48.com, and I'm sure you were going to mention that as well to get more information, but you want to tell them about it?
Yes, I do. One thing is so fantastic having Stephen Key speak this evening, because what we were saying before on Make 48 is they have 48 hours to have an idea introduced in their plan, the seed planted in their mind, conceive and create a solution to a problem that exists in that world, and then build a functional prototype. Well, now I learned tonight, you just need a prototype that appears to be functional. That's a wonderful thing, okay? Someone from a little bit further away, it's conceptual selling, sell the result, not necessarily the process. I think that was fantastic. But the thing that I gathered from Stephen tonight is speed to market. And how many people have been coming here, and I'm not going to step on anybody's toes, we've all had an idea that we've sat on forever. Well, I've got this great idea, and next year they go, well, I've still got this great idea. Well, somebody else already thought of it 2 years after you thought of it and brought it to the market 6 weeks later and is making money. So what we really want to do is continue to change and grow the culture of our organization and say, look, you can build out of nothing. Just by getting together and masterminding, you can build an incredibly successful product idea / strategy in 48 hours. So when we talk about the event and the speakers, now again, to create awareness for the organization so you can help me promote it, I'm going to talk about this going forward, but this is not a solicitation, nor can you sign up for this event in here tonight. But the Make 48, the keynote speakers, will be on that Friday. And here's what I know about people that are successful in any genre. They hang around successful people. They read books about how to become successful, written by experts like Stephen Key, and they hang around people that have already done it, like Stephen Key. People will not hesitate to spend $20,000, $30,000, or $40,000 a year to go to a school, graduate with $80,000 in student debt, and then go interview for a $35,000 job. Isn't that just kind of mind-boggling? Here, we're going to have the opportunity. We have several of the speakers on panel are not just millionaires, they're multi-millionaires. So these aren't people that are speaking out of theory. He goes, here's who I am, here's what I've done, here's what it worked, here's why it worked, how it worked, here's the mistakes I've made. So to have the opportunity to get this kind of education in a short period of time, and there's only going to be 200 people in that room, because that's all it seats. So this will sell out. So when you're helping us promote this event, you need to let other people who have any inkling of possibility of thinking about coming to this April 17th, which isn't that far away, by the way, that this event will sell out. You can register for that educational workshop and be in front of these people on April 17th through make48.com. So go through the make48.com. It's very, very self-explanatory, but let me give you an idea of some of the people that are going to be there. First one, which you already heard from tonight, Stephen Key, will be his first public address after several years and his first promotional to any inventors group in the United States after having written and published his third book. If you're in that room, you'll be one of the people that meet him face to face, shake his hand, and afterwards we're networking. We're going to have some cocktails probably there at Pier Ponce, hang out, have a social setting, but you're going to be in a room with people that are like-minded enough and success-oriented enough that they're actually willing to make the investment in their future and invest in being in that room, okay? Admission for that educational session is $90. So you need to know that now and get out there and be one of the 20, but Stephen Key will be there. In addition to that, I'm so excited about this woman, Christy Garten. I met her last week, and she had contacted me. She's a New York Times best-selling author, The College Girl's Guide to Her Freshman Year, and she actually had interviews, did a lot of field research with girls that had completed their freshman year of college. You go, what advice do you have for seniors in college who are getting ready to go? Anyway, New York Times bestseller. She's been on Good Morning America. She's been featured in USA Today. And now she's launching a company called UCHIC. It's UCHIC. That's going to be products geared specifically for her market right there in the 18 and 19, 20-year-old young women. She also wrote a book on how to market to millennials, and which is doing really, really well. And it's so funny because she's so unassuming. I said, well, tell me about your education background. She goes, well, you know, I got a law degree and I did that for a while. I go, for where? She goes, UPenn. I go, Ivy League UPenn. She goes, yeah. I go, oh. But I just didn't like it so much. No, not so much. So now I wrote some books, and now I'm building a company, and I'm doing this. But yeah, she's a fantastic speaker. She's very young, very dynamic, and she's actually going to be one of our keynotes on marketing, branding, and distribution. In addition to that, we have a local CEO, Linda Vaughn, president and CEO of Reese Nichols. Now, Reese Nichols has just recently rebranded. Have you noticed that? It used to be Reese and Nichols. Now there's an asterisk out front, the and sign, Reese Nichols. So the asterisk out front, that means the title company and the appraisal companies and everything else are doing bigger packaging. It's not just real estate. But her drive in moving that organization forward, which is a Kansas City-based firm, is pretty extraordinary. She has a great vision for rebranding and then, in essence, launching a known brand and rebranding, pushing that forward. Also, Bill DeRocco, great friend of mine, who's built successful clothing lines in and of his own and sold them and done licensing deals, but also former Gear for Sports VP. In addition to that, we have a gentleman named Chase Carey. Now, this is another author who wrote a book called Chasing Meditation. Now, this is, I understand the first time I thought about it and spoke with him, I go, that might be kind of a stretch. But what he coaches on for high-level execs is how to put yourself and your body and your mind into a creative mind state, in a meditative state. Because people say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to figure out something brilliant. It doesn't work that way. It works when you're on a bike ride, or when you're running, or when you're in the shower, or at the gym, or if you're intentionally saying, I'm not going to intentionally work that hard. Creative efforts are exactly opposite of how intently you think. The creative mind is a different state of mind, and he's going to come, I believe from South Carolina, to be a part of that event. He is so excited to be just on the lineup. And he goes, I want to make sure that I speak first. I want to talk to him. I go, we'll have you speak first. But anyway, great guy. I think we'll really, really enjoy him. In addition to that, we have a gentleman named Dan Duffy. Dan Duffy has his degree, he has an MBA from Northwestern, and has his undergrad is in finance, and he did, and he's a CPA. He did oversaw 36 M&As, mergers and acquisitions. To oversee and head up and run the numbers on one company or half a dozen companies, he did 36 when he was with Ernst & Young. He just recently, he and a brother and another business associate purchased United Country Realty. That company's been around since 1925. He's rebranded it, changed the comp schedule, brought in super high-tech marketing distribution, has turned the real estate industry on its head, but it's the fastest growing real estate model now in North America. Tim Stiles and I, my business partner, we met with him a couple weeks ago, told him about this. He goes, I'd love to be a part of that. I'd love to come and talk about that, about building a company and how you do those things and do them from scratch. But just an incredible, incredible local success story. One of the things that Stephen had mentioned as well is, he goes, get an idea at 9 o'clock, file a provisional patent for it by noon, and start selling it by 2. And he used the word sales. That's one of the boot camps, workshops, / one of the speakers, me, will be teaching on sales and communicating. The greatest idea in your mind that you can't get me to clearly see means nothing. Most people think sales is trying to convince somebody to part with money they don't have to get a product they don't need. Sales, a better word for sales is crystal clear, concise, brief communication. Here's the solution that it provides. And then how to lead with questions. In addition to that, a good portion of that will be on time management. If you're like every other American, you're pulled in 10 different directions. I have a time management program that I've built over the years. I can now get more done by Monday at noon than I used to do by Wednesday at 5. And I have way more leisure time, way more relaxed schedule, way more production, way more revenues with way less work because of self-management, which is a better word for time management. Here's my point. You're going to have any one of these speakers, in my opinion, is worth taking a day off work and being there for. I've invested $700 to spend one day with Brian Tracy. Tony Robbins, I spent $299 to go to a room filled with 5,000 other people so I could hear him get up there and do his thing. Because to be successful, you need to be coached by successful people. I just want to so strongly urge you to not take this lightly, to not blow it off and go, well, it's next year. I don't have to worry about it. It's out there next year. Please go to Make 48 and make sure that you're one of the people that's going to be in the room. 200 seats. First come, first serve, sold out, done. And it's going to sell out. Because once some of these other CEOs and organizations understand it, they'll buy blocks of 20 and 30 and 40 people because they want their creative minds in there. We don't want any of you who have built this organization to the #1 organization now in North America, according to Stephen Key, we don't want any of you guys missing out on this. But we also can't hold any tickets for you. So please invest in yourself. Take the time to go out there, secure a spot in that room on April 17th, and stick around for the vendors contest, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Question?
When does the 48 hours begin?
6 o'clock, Friday night, April 17th.
So we can go to all the symposiums during the day and not miss
Right. Yeah, if you're competing as a team, you can still attend.
Keynotes totally separate.
Right, all of the talks on Friday.
All the keynotes will be done, then the 48 hours will start.
When will the sign up
You can sign up now if you'd like to.
when will the project be announced?
The project will be announced that Friday. No, it'll be announced during the day, during the keynote day. There'll be a time period in the afternoon. They'll announce it. Yeah, don't you see on the hook? You see we worked that? Marketing 101, man. No. Right, yeah, no, we have announced it that Friday. Right, yes, right. Yeah, we don't want anybody to get an advantage, and we want you to literally use the 48 hours and not, work on your idea a few days ahead of time, so we have to announce it that Friday. Oh, sure. Well, hey, if you got a few tricks in the bag, you can pull them out. That's up to you.
You know,
We
if
start the
everybody's
clock
there, they
at Friday.
start, they might get, what, 51 hours to make a 48-hour invention, but.
Right, but yeah.
During that day, we'll let them know, but there will be people that come just for the keynotes only and bail. There will be people that come to see Stephen Key and they go, that was awesome, I'm out of here and I got to go back. And so you don't have to come, if you can't invest the whole Friday, just invest a portion of it, but for sure, make an investment in yourself and get educated. I'm more excited now after hearing Stephen Key. I've never heard him speak before. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Somebody said something. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we also, along with people to attend Friday, we do need teams. You're talking about the competition. You can sign up now if you would like to compete in Make 48. We are looking for teams of 4, ideally. So if you and a few others would like to band together, you can sign up on the website. There's a sign-up form there, and you can sign up to compete in the competition. It's free to fill out the form and enter. We'll review all the applications and pick the handful of teams. We're looking at about 15 in total that will be chosen, and part of those teams will be at Union Station at the Maker Studio there, which is one of the Fab Labs, and the others will be at Hammer Space, which is another Fab Lab on 63rd Street, and those will be the playing fields. They'll have all of the tools at their disposal, along with help. There will be people we call tool techs who will be there to operate the tools. We're mainly looking for your ideas and your designs. There'll be people there to actually help you do the physical work to craft them. But yeah, if you'd like to be a team, we do need competitors as well. So everything there is on the website, forms for teams.
The minimum team is 2 though, right?
Yeah, and if we have 2 people and we have 2 over here, we may pair you together. Ideally, we'd like all the teams to be at full strength.
So you can't show up as a solo?
Yeah, you can, but we'll probably pair you with some others.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't be by yourself.
All right.
4 would be the limit, so no more than 4.
4 is the max.
That's the max.
Just because of access to the tool techs and...
We can only accommodate so many people in these labs, so it's kind of a numbers game. Yeah. Everything is on sale now. If you go to make48.com, you can either buy a ticket for Friday, you can enter yourself as a team,
Again, the fee for the team registration is not until you've been approved.
Right.
So you can apply to be a part of one of the accepted teams, put in your idea there, and then if that's one of those that's chosen to compete, so wow, this would be great to have these guys be a part of this. At that point, then the registration fee for the event. But the event for the keynotes, to have access to the keynotes, that is available right now. And so I would urge you to make that happen.
Make48.com, everything's right there, and so you'll find everything at your disposal to participate in whatever way you so choose. We're also the sponsorship opportunity as well, yeah.
So you're going to take 15 teams?
That's correct.
If you're not chosen, is there a way to be a spectator?
I don't know, I'm glad you brought that up. Honestly, we haven't talked about it too much, but there probably would be some people that would be interested in seeing the action. And so we've had a little dialogue with the studios about what the public component would be on Saturday and Sunday for the people who are not competing. And we like the idea of having something. That'll probably be sketched out, and there probably will be an opportunity for you to be there and still be able to learn, because there'll be a lot going on. There's a lot of educational opportunities there. Yeah.
And also, too, probably, we're going to need a lot of you to help us facilitate that, where people navigate Union Station. How do I find the Makers Lab down this hall? Look for the next guy in the red shirt.
I'm glad you brought that up,
Down the
because
hall.
we'll be looking for volunteers too to help with the event. So if you'd like to be involved at that level, please let us know.
Question right here.
Glad you brought that up.
I could possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, actually, it is a thought, and we've already had it. We've shared it, and we're working with actually a local production company, and we will be filming that weekend, filming the competition with the idea that there might be something for the TV on that. So we will be. Right, exactly. No,
What a beautiful setting, though, just to have it at Union Station, a historical place, and to have these people coming in, literally, some of these guys coming in from, he's coming in from Salt Lake.
Yeah, Stephen's
Tahoe,
from
and then
Nevada.
our guys
We have
from
some other
South
people.
Carolina.
Well, I would mention one other name as we wrap up here, and that is that you didn't mention, we just signed him, and I think he'll be great, is Scott Browning, and he is the manager of the prototype lab at Hallmark. So, and a design engineer, and so he is going to come and talk to us about prototyping, share with us what goes on at Hallmark, how they go about things. That's a big one. A lot of great information. I don't know how many of you are familiar with what Hallmark has there and their Fab Lab and their tools, but they have an amazing setup, an absolutely amazing setup. And so Scott's going to come and
Here's
share.
another one I failed to cover. Neil Sharma,
Yeah.
CEO and co-founder of KC Agency, Digital Evolution Group, DEG, named the top 25 companies changing the world by Inc. magazine this year.
Yeah,
So that guy's gonna be
I've
good
had the
as well.
pleasure of working at DG. He is actually my CEO and a good friend, and he has talked to our group here, a couple of years ago, and he is a dynamic young guy and has grown this company from, it was about 30 people about 6 years ago, and it's now at about 160 people, and was just recently this year named as Inc. magazine named it to the top 25 companies changing the world. They're one of them. They're right here in Kansas City on Overland Park.
And we're going Classic Cup too.
Yeah.
So afterwards, we have to be out here at 8, so
Yeah.
4 minutes. But we're gonna head down to Classic Cup down on the plaza. We always have a meet and greet afterwards, and actually we have to be out here by 8:30. But please pick up your cups and any trash, anything that you have sitting around you. We are gonna head to Classic Cup down there on the plaza if you'd like to speak with us a little bit further and just meet some other members in the group. But please, for sure be part of that. Special drink prices. I don't know what they are, but they're special drink prices. John, the owner, is a big benefactor at ICKC. He loves us, and he always helps us out and has something waiting for us down there. So,
And please, I would say, please, let us know as we head into next year and we have this big event and we have our monthly meetings, we're planning all of this because we're going into our planning phase. Let us know if you have some ideas, some things you'd like to see next year, speakers, content, something that we're not doing. Please give us feedback. It is extremely beneficial. And go to make48.com. Also, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Make48 is all over the social media sphere.
Fuller Creatives helping us with all that.
Yes, Fuller Creatives. Steve Fuller's helped us greatly with our social media efforts. So please visit us online.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next year.